Hello everyone, this is Claudia from Baba Spark, and today I'm going to present one of my first cards for this year. And this ties in with my New Year's resolution on using my watercolors and really improve my watercoloring. So I decided to do kind of a Valentine cross with winter card a little bit. So the way I designed this is to be a top folded card, and I'm using some gray cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and then I have some watercolor paper from Canson. This is like 300 grams watercolor paper. It's really thick because I don't want it to curl, and I decided I didn't have a heart die, but I had a kind of a heart stamp, and this is from the Gorjuss urban stamps, and I draw with a pencil all around it, so I have kind of a template that I'm going to cut myself. And then I decided that I'm going to do kind of a ombre effect, so gradient wash, but I'm not going to use the same color, but I'm going to use all the colors of my paper palette, starting with that really cool skin yellow and then going into the reds, and then the last one will be a blue. And I'm using a really flat brush here, and this is a really big brush. It's kind of like a 1-inch brush, and it really helps, this brush really helps me to do kind of even strokes. I spread through the process, but basically I use from each color one row, and now I'm speed hitting the paper, and I'm making sure I'm hitting on the back side so that I keep it really flat. And this really gives a nice effect, going from the yellow to the oranges and then pinks and blues. And now with the craft knife, I'm just cutting that very slowly. I know this is sped up like 500 times, but I'm cutting the heart out because I don't have a big heart die. I have a lot of small heart dies, but not really a big one. So, but this process doesn't take too long. With a craft knife, it's quite easy. You don't really need a die for this kind of stuff. Like if it was something intricate, yes, but like for hearts and stuff like that, you don't really need. To give more emphasis on the panel, I did dash lines all around, including around the card, around the heart. And now I'm going to prepare for my main image, and I am going to use this image from the Gorjuss urban stamps, and I'm gonna post a link to this particular stamp. I had it for quite some time, and I really like these stamps. They're really big and quite nice to color in, and I usually do not stray from the coloring of the packages initially on my first use, because then I don't have to reinvent the wheel and have all kind of colors that are hard to guess. And the reason why I'm using my watercolors here and not my watercolor markers is because I wanted to see if I could actually have a skin tone with just my watercolors. I always am I mean, I know what to use when I use my markers, but I didn't know what to use when I'm using my just my watercolors. So that's why I decided to just use these ones and try out all the different color tones. And I'm stamping on a bigger piece of paper because I want to have space to try out the colors before I actually go into the actual coloring process. So I'm using really cool blue, and these are, I think, the koi watercolors. They're quite many different colors that you have. Usually when you buy, when I buy my first set, they only had like the 12 colors, and it's really hard to get different colors because you have to know how to mix and match colors to get different colors, But this one is very easy because they're already made for you, so you don't have to know that if I mix the red with this kind of blue, I get a darker shade of gray or something like that. So some watercolors that give you a lot of color options maybe are easier in the beginning than, let's say, the 12 watercolor packs that you have to know how to mix and match, because that is, I think, for me it's quite difficult at the moment. I don't know this color theory, how to mix colors to get other colors, so I'm just using this basic thing. Another tip that I'm gonna say is that with watercolor it's okay to put more color in the beginning and then dab it off. I put always more water on the paper and I lift off the color if I think I put too much color, and it's okay to do that with watercolors because it's easy to lift off. Like if you would have like Copic markers, you couldn't do that. You would start with your lighters and then build up. But in here, as you can see on the hair, really initially the hair is really dark and you might think, what was I thinking here? But the reasoning for that is because I'm gonna lift it up, I'm gonna use more water and I'm gonna lift up the color, so it will in the end look good and will have nice highlights in the hair. So yeah, I think in this respect watercolors are much easier. I'm now trying to make her face. I had to let the face dry out before I make the next layer, and I deepen the color and I make a little bit of shadows. And now I'm using some kind of crimson red to make her cheeks there. And I did a mistake initially because I put too much red, but if you go immediately with a brush loaded just with water, then you can pick up that color that you messed up, and then it's okay. You have to let it a bit dry and then try again. So it's pretty basic coloring, I would say. It's just blue, red and a little bit of yellow, but you know, for the beginning of the year it's fine. I use a gel pen to make the white dots on the dress to give it a bit more interest. And that was kind of it. All I need to do now is to just fussy cut this, and I'll just add some glitter pen now there and there just to make it a bit pop, and then I'll assemble my card. So after I fussy cut everything, I actually made another wash of color on a piece of paper and I stamped my sentiment, and it's from the same stamp set. The sentiment says Simply Gorgeous, but I wanted something on the same shade and I couldn't find a cardstock that matched, so I just did it with the watercolors. And now I'm that was the January Simon Says stamp kit, and they had these really wintry papers, and I thought that the gray will look really cool behind that heart because it's kind of totally offset from the really vibrant colors of the front panel, and you could really see it good. So I'm going to lift off the panel with some foam tape. It's not really big foam tape, but it's like slightly lift off, and then I'm going to put my sentiment also with 2 rows of foam dots, and then I'm going to adhere also my little girl there on the side. And I'm kind of using the rule of thirds here, so I'm just making kind of a corner there. So if you would see this one divided by 3 and where those points meet, that's kind of on the way where I put my girl on the 2 points up down on the side, and then the heart. So that's one small tip. You don't have to center everything because that will look a bit weird if you put a girl in the center. So now I'm just die cutting some hearts, some small hearts, and I use the Simon Says stamp heart dies, and I'm just gonna adhere them. And I use some white wood grain paper to die cut these ones, and I'm going to adhere all of them because I just love hearts. And this, I tried sequins before I went to the hearts, but they weren't really standing out. They were too vibrant. When you're using vibrant sequins and then a vibrant background, then it doesn't really work. You can't do that. So then I decided to use something really totally neutral, like the white hearts on a very vibrant background, and that really makes it pop much better than the other way around. So I really hope you enjoyed this. This is the first card on this year. I think I'm going to go more this year with watercoloring, but also with digital prints and coloring those ones. And I'm really looking forward to this new year and to many more videos that I'm going to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys next time.